especially with something like the Passion that I did. The written word was very important because it was, you got all those books, the Bible, you've got the different Gospels and stuff that people are quite familiar with. Half the time, they didn't even need to read the subtitles. They could look at it and know what was going on.
For centuries, the resurrection of Christ has been seen as the climax of his life and ministry. The story ends with a risen Jesus offering salvation. But what if this ending isn't the full story? What if entire passages, warnings, and prophecies were deliberately hidden?
It was a great movie, but
Yeah.
it seemed like there was resistance to that movie,
Oh, yeah. No, there was...
which I thought was very strange. There was like Hollywood resistance to that movie. Like people didn't like that you were making it. It seemed
no.
like.
Yeah, there was a lot of opposition to it.
Mel Gibson, the filmmaker behind The Passion of the Christ, has raised this question with an unexpected revelation. According to him, the Ethiopian Bible holds a version of the end times that's more intense, specific, and disturbingly different from modern scripture. What does it reveal about the end of days that many believed was too dangerous for the world to know?
My contention is, when I was making it, it was like, you're making this film, and the idea was that we're all responsible for this, that his sacrifice was for all mankind, and that for all our ills and all the things in our fallen nature, it was a redemption.
The Ethiopian Bible, a more complete and terrifying version. For nearly 2,000 years, Christians worldwide have heard the same resurrection story. Jesus rose, appeared to his disciples, and promised salvation. But in Ethiopia, ancient Christian writings offer a far deeper, more terrifying version of what Jesus said during the 40 days after his resurrection. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church houses one of the oldest and most complete Bibles, 81 books, unlike the 66 of the Western Bible. In them, Jesus doesn't just offer comfort. He gives chilling, urgent warnings describing an end time far beyond the book of Revelation. The Book of the Covenant, Jesus' end times prophecy. One of the most crucial texts is the Book of the Covenant, recording Jesus' words to his disciples in the 40 days following his resurrection. Jesus describes the final age in detail. The end times won't begin with fire from the sky, but with the slow death of conscience. He speaks of a generation that will know his name, but not his voice. They will build cathedrals, but the Spirit of truth will have left. He warns of false prophets, not from distant lands, but from within the very churches built in his name. They will speak of heaven while building empires on earth. When you see my name used to justify war, to excuse greed, to silence the poor, know that the hour is near. He describes earthquakes, floods, and strange sky events that will confuse even the wisest men. But these are not punishments, they are signals, the birth pains of a new age. Do not fear the shaking of the ground. Fear the stillness of hearts gone cold. The final empire. Comfort, not chains. In the Didascalia, Jesus warns of a final empire that will not use chains to control people, but comfort. It will offer bread and entertainment, calling that freedom. Blessed are those who see the cage and still choose love. Blessed are those who are hungry for truth in the age of false abundance. This points directly at modern society. People kept in subtle captivity, not through oppression, but through distraction and luxury. The warning is just as relevant today as when it was first given. Jesus' final words, a spiritual war. The Ethiopian texts describe Jesus saying that in the last age, his voice will rise again. not from pulpits or the powerful, but from deserts, prisons, and the forgotten. His Spirit will speak through those ignored by the world. The most dangerous truth of the end times. Those who claim to be ready will be the last to see it. The final battle isn't between armies. It's inside every human heart. The battle between truth and comfort, between the fire of awakening and the sleep of satisfied souls. Why the Western Church suppressed the Ethiopian prophecy. Ethiopian scholars point to 3 reasons the Western Church suppressed this prophecy. The first is political control. The Roman Church wanted a narrative, keeping people dependent on the institution for salvation. The idea that God's Spirit would bypass institutions and speak directly to the humble was too dangerous. The second is mysticism. The Ethiopian texts, filled with visions, angelic counsels, and cosmic timelines, were deemed heretical. The third is fear, a genuine concern that people reading these words would realize the end times might already be unfolding. According to the Ethiopian prophecy, the final age unfolds in 4 stages: forgetting the truth, the age of spectacle, the rise of false prophets, and the great silence. The most dangerous sign of the end times isn't visible disasters. It's the silence of the Spirit, when the connection between heaven and earth grows so thin that even those searching for truth can barely feel it. The 7 seals of the heart. Before his ascension, Jesus gave his disciples 7 seals of the heart, not the dramatic cosmic seals of Revelation, but far more personal and frightening. The first seal is comfort, the refusal to be disturbed by truth. The second is pride, the belief that one's understanding is complete. The third is fear, the worship of safety above all else. The fourth is distraction, filling every silence so the voice of God cannot be heard. The fifth is false community, surrounding oneself with people who only confirm existing beliefs. The sixth is false mercy, using forgiveness to avoid change. The seventh and most dangerous is the seal of religion, using holy words and rituals to avoid the living, burning reality of God. Jesus said when a person breaks all 7 seals, they are ready. They become the fire they were waiting for. The Great Awakening, the end of the lie. The Ethiopian prophecy closes with a revelation too dangerous for the Western Church to include. The end is not the end of life. It is the end of the lie. Jesus promised that what is coming is not destruction for its own sake, but a cleansing, a burning away of everything false. Those who chose love and truth, even when the world chose comfort and power, will not be lost. They will be known by their scars, not their crowns. The Ethiopian end times prophecy offers a vision of the final days that is not about escape, but transformation. Not only about surviving what is to come, but becoming the reason the world is worth saving. Ethiopia stands apart as one of the oldest and most extraordinary nations on earth. Never colonized, its independence allowed it to preserve its culture, traditions, and sacred texts in a way no other nation could. The Ethiopian Bible, with its 81 books and hidden prophecies, holds the real narrative of what is to come. For centuries, these teachings were kept alive in monasteries by monks who understood the importance of preserving this ancient truth. The prophecy is clear. The end times are not about destruction, but the end of the lie. Ethiopia, the land that was never conquered, has guarded this truth for millennia. Now, As the world begins to unravel, it's time for humanity to face what Ethiopia has protected. If this opened your eyes to something new, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next revelation.